And I'm live. Did it send any notification yet? There's one person. Oh, there's two viewers, yo. Hi, everyone. We're just gonna wait 2 minutes for other people to join, and then we'll start. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year, Pagela. Okay, now there's a lot of people. Happy New Year, Nonk, everybody. Now this page is fun, Shem. People like this thing. They really like us. Hi guys, my name is Luyanda Jafta. This is a new tradition. Let's call it the People's Fund Live, where we're going to just recap what's happened in the past year. Don't mind me looking to my left. I'm actually looking at agenda. The marketing team set an agenda and end up talking about things that are not relevant. So they want to keep it to an hour. I'm going to do this for 2 hours. So I'm going to go through the year that was, current opportunities, and what's the direction of the company, you know. As mentioned, my name is Luyanda Jafta, co-founder of the People's Fund, and apparently CEO of this company. I don't know when they're going to start getting a real adult to run this company. But what is TPF, right? The People's Fund is a belief that we as the people can change the way things are happening and the way things are done. And we so happen to do purchase order funding using crowd-funded capital. How it works is members of the crowd, everyday people, have contributed everywhere from 100 Rand all the way to 8 million Rand to enable us to do purchase order funding. So to unpack that a little bit for people who've never been on our platform, purchase order funding is basically somebody has a purchase order and they need that purchase order funded with, let's say, Transnet, for example. They need to deliver 3 million tissues to Transnet. Transnet says, look, we'll pay you 3 million Rand if you can deliver 3 million tissues to us, because we need to take our crabs. And the person generally might not have a factory, or even if they have the factory, they don't have the raw material, the capital to do the raw material, to buy the raw material for delivering on the order. So their supplier says, look, it's going to cost you 50 cents per tissue, but I can deliver on the order that you want. Then they come to us. If you did the maths, that's 1.5 million. They come to us, they apply for funding. We evaluate what they're looking for. And from a capital perspective, we do a whole due diligence. They apply on our website. We pretend to be adults doing work. And then we fund them for the 1.5 million. Now, to fund them for the 1.5 million, we charge them 6% of the value of the PO. So if you're keeping up with the maths, the 3 million example, we'd charge them 180,000. So we'd provide 1.5 million in capital and charge them 180,000. So they'd be able to keep the balance of that, which comes to 1.32 million. And that's the crux of it. And where do we get our capital? We get it from everyday people like yourself and myself. But like people who've got like 100 Rand and whatnot, we get the capital from there. And then what we do is that 180,000 we charge the entrepreneur, we split it with the crowd, basically 50-50. And that's the People's Fund in the nutshell. Now, we started the People's Fund almost 4 years ago now, 3.5 years ago. We started with asset-backed crowdfunding. So we weren't even doing purchase order funding. We had these fantastical dreams of buying assets for entrepreneurs. I think I think we have one campaign left in that regard that's doing well. Hey, lawa manye shem. Bezbuya, guys. Bezbuya. We paid our school fees. Proper paid our school fees for that. And while we were doing that, people kept on saying, I don't need assets. I've got an order, I need it funded. And that's how we started purchase order funding about 2.5 years ago. And from starting purchase order funding to today, we've outlaid more than 200 million in capital as the People's Fund. But also it's not our money, it's the crowd's money. The crowd has outlaid over 200 million, all from a concept, so that's really exciting. I'm gonna wait for the questions. There's no questions there. And now let's do a proper recap. Last year, father of the nation, was locked down foot. Last year we got locked down for 4 months of the year, if I'm not mistaken, on some level, either level 5 to level 3. And it was a very scary time for business, a very scary time for our health, and our condolences to all of the people who lost loved ones to this disease, and our condolences to anyone who's lost a form of income because of this disease and the lockdowns and the various other things. Sure, it was and still is a bloodbath when it comes to that in the country. But there's every cloud has a silver lining. We were fortunate that we could participate in ensuring that the country still functioned, especially essential services and that sort of thing, when they needed things, whether it be the various things that the Department of Health needed, the various things that people like the South African Police Services, South African National Defense, Correctional Services, and the various other things. We were part of what we think is the solution. We were able to fund quite a substantial number of orders during that period, during lockdown. If I'm not mistaken, I think in that period alone, we funded over 50 million. We outlaid more than 50 million in capital. So it's been, for this past year in total, we funded more than, if we look at the financial year, we're actually fetching, 160 million, if I'm not mistaken, in capital that we outlaid, and we're growing quite fast. So it's been amazing, and we've been able to give our investors quite a sizable return on their investments, right? So yeah, that was the year that was. I don't know if this thing is not showing. Oh, there we go. There's the questions. Oh, guys, ngamavoya, man. All of you are just sitting here watching. Yo, do I talk that nicely? I wish. There's a question. Do you deal with seed funding? So before I move on to the next agenda item, do we deal with seed funding? So no, we don't. If seed funding is for you to start up your business, no, we currently don't offer funding in that regard. We believe in this, and I'm going to be sensitive with how I answer this. As guys, I'm in a new year. I'm reading psychology books. I'm reading how to be a better human being, so I don't tease people anymore. I'm nicer. But we believe that the first test of an entrepreneur is for them to find customers. And if they find customers, we want to be there to help them to deliver to those customers. That's the nature of the People's Fund. So we don't provide seed funding, but what we do provide is a mechanism for you to achieve the results that you want with that customer. So no seed funding. You have to have a purchase order for us to fund you. So you have to go to a customer, get them to say, look, I'll procure your goods. And when they say they've procure your goods, they'll issue a purchase order. And then they'll say on that purchase order, we'll fund you, we'll pay you 30 days after delivery. Then we can come and fund it. That's what we primarily are. Minimum to invest minimum is 100 Rand. You can go to the website, thepeople.co.za, and click on fund a project, and you can contribute from as little as 100 Rand. If you're looking to contribute more than 100,000, what you do is you'd contact us and let us know. You can go to admin@thepeople.co.za. and let admin know that, look, I'm looking to put in 100,000 or more. And the difference between the two is that with the general crowd, what happens is you contribute and you get paid your money in a year's time. And I see the question about what can you expect as a return. For the general crowd, the return has been about 24% return on capital per annum. And then for the private investors, people putting in 100,000 and above, they fluctuated between 40 and 50% return on capital per annum. And how that happens is, imagine somebody comes with an order to us, right? They need R1 million. The order's worth 2 million. We charge a 6%, so we would have charged 120,000 Rand on that order. Now the capital provider puts up R1 million. We get 120,000 as a return. We split it 50-50 with the investor, so the investor would have made 60,000 on that transaction. Now, on average, from the time we pay that million to the time it gets paid back to us, on average, it's 46 days. So I'll try to be slower with my maths. If the investor's making 60,000 on R1 million, they are making 6% on capital for that transaction. But that transaction is for 46 days. If we do it again and you keep doing it, you can do it about 9 times in a year, and that gives you 9 times 6%, which gives you that 54% return on capital. And that's why the investors have been making so much money. So much money. Damn it, they make more money than us. I'm joking, guys. We built this so that people can make money and people can find a way to get their orders funded. And that's actually the philosophy of the People's Fund. We like to say we're a conduit for a people-led economy. Primarily, what we are doing is we're saying big institutions are not investing in small businesses. Very many of them are not funding purchase orders. Historically, for very funny reasons. For example, they claim that government doesn't pay. We've done purchase order funding for 3 years. We've done some corporate contracts, but mostly government. Best payer in the country is government. By far, it's not even close. We know corporates that take 120 days, 180 days to pay on invoices. So, yeah, don't listen to the media. Do you deal with service-based companies? So, yes and no. So what we do is we always tell people it's best to apply directly on the platform so that we can see if we can fund the particular project you're looking for. Oh, I hope you're tagging someone. Somebody just called me Mr. Gray. Yo, sis. We always tell people to apply on the platform. And when they apply on the platform, it can tell them if we'll be able to fund the order or not, depending on what kind of service they are providing. It always depends on the kind of service we're funding. How do you protect your investors' funds? So the beautiful thing is, firstly, we do a thorough due diligence on the entrepreneurs. We do multiple checks. We do bank statement checks. We do a little bit of background check. We do validation of purchase order. We do validation of suppliers. We do a validation of the entire process. When are they going to get paid and that sort of thing. And then we've got a pretty decent legal team that if people act like scammers, I'm sure some of you saw the scammers campaign, they are going to be dealing with our legal team. Shame, I'll come to the scammers campaign. So that's how we protect our investors' capital. I mean, from the 200 million we've deployed, we have a capital loss rate of under 3%. So it's pretty decent. I know a bank that does unsecured lending, and their default rate is twice ours at the very least. In fact, it was 3 times ours, but they brought it down. What are the requirements before we fund a PO? So the best thing is to actually go on the website, because primarily the purchase order has to be valid. You have to have a minimum of a 20% margin, generally speaking. And then we've also opened our scope. So we used to say you have to have worked with a client or done a purchase order before. We've opened our scope. We help first timers now as well. So if it's your first time doing a purchase order, we can help you. Nile questioning itanda. What time frame for a company to get funded? Because some of us, we get late PO confirmations. When before December, January, Typically, it would take us 2 to 5 days to do an approval. And mostly it was dependent on entrepreneurs delivering all of the documents. We have had a slight slowdown, especially beginning of January, with deployment of capital and late December, primarily because departments are getting back into shape. Also, and they are taking longer to pay back the money. So we've had incredible demand for our capital in these past 2 months. So it's kind of slow down our rate of deployment of capital, but we are looking to work back to fix the backlog. We do have a slight backlog right now, but we expect by end of January, beginning of February, the backlog will be down again. And then we'll be able to go back to our promise of 2 days. 2 days and you're funded, right? But most of it is actually dependent on the entrepreneur delivering all of the things that we need. How does one become an investor? You can become an investor by going onto the platform, www.thepeople.co.za, and clicking on Fund a Project. It will walk you through the process, how it works. You contribute from as little as 100 Rand. If you want to invest 100,000 or more, you can send an email to admin@thepeople.co.za or directly to tato@thepeople.co.za, our investment officer management. Investment officer. Hey guys, it's long. Guys, it's 7:30. Like, bundle with English apelile. So if I say anything wrong, please excuse me. What's the minimum return do you expect on a PO? So typically the minimum we make is 6% on PO. Of course, we do fluctuate our fees based on risk involved, time frame it will take for the PO to get executed, and the various other things, right? So yeah, that's typically what we expect. Let's say on the capital, it fluctuates between 8 and 12%, or rather for the investor, because we split it 50-50, 4 and 6% per transaction. And Shalati, yes, just to confirm, our historic performance has been that investors have made between 40 and 60%. I'm legally obliged to say that past performance is not yeah, guys, English spelling. Past performance is not indication of future performance. I'm legally obliged to say that, you know. I'm going to scroll up. I just want to do the question so that at least I know. Thanks, Mario. Cool. And then crowdfunding. How many people have contributed to date? So we've got actually thousands of people who've contributed to crowdfunding to date. Some on our older campaigns, and then some on our purchase order funding campaign. I think on purchase order funding, we've got about 600 crowdfunders and about 100 private investors. Private investors, or rainmakers as we call them, are the people who contribute to 100,000 and above. I hope that, and it's been quite nice for the investors. Can you find someone who has made to Paul now in Atipelili English 100? Is that 1.5 million? Yes. Yeah. I Paul young shy. Can you find someone who has 2 POs for 1.5 million? Yes, we can. We can fund probably one of them, especially because it's a sizable transaction. And if it's the first time we're working with you, we're likely not going to do sizable transactions with you until the first one pays back. You know, we're building a relationship. Consecutive days or weeks. Oh, got it. And somebody liked it. Yo, somebody figured it out before me. So yes, I hope I've answered it. We can fund the first PO if the due diligence checks out. And do you fund service POs like events and catering projects? Yes, it depends on the nature of what needs to be done. So if there's goods that need to be delivered, there's things that need to be rented, usually we can find a way to fund them. But of course, best thing is to apply on the platform to see how that happens. How do you recover your funds from entrepreneurs? I'm an entrepreneur, Baba. We have a joint account with them, or an account we have on mandate. So they would have an account with one of the banks we work with, and we'd have a mandate on that bank account so that we can withdraw the money automatically when it comes in. They change the account on CSD to become the primary account, and then we recover our money that way. Let me just double check. No more questions. The Essays Got Scammers campaign. So, one of the things that happened with lockdown, right, is that courts minimized the things they deal with, right? And what that means is, so we follow the strict legal process in terms of dealing with people who are defaulting, or especially the ones in our early days when we're still figuring out the system. And we'd use the full legal process to try get them to pay. We actually hired quite an awesome legal firm for our collections. And one of the things we noticed is that because of lockdown, the process is much slower than we'd like, right? And people kept on making promises. They were basically lying to us repeatedly. We ran a campaign called Essays Got Scammers. And primarily what the campaign was to highlight is because the legal matters are in the public domain, because there's summons issued, we thought we'd put it in the public's domain to remind people that you are absconding with people's money. And we selected, it's not all our defaulters that are on the scammers campaign, it's all the ones who redirected funds from clients into other accounts and pretended to not have been paid. And then we discovered that they were paid and they lied. They basically absconded with people's money. And then we said, no, man. And a lot of them, well, not a lot of them, a few of them, we know them on social media. And we thought, you're living your best life with other people's money. Could we not actually remind you that you owe people money? It was not about us. It was about the crowd, because it is the crowd's money at the end of the day. To change the account on CSDs usually takes 2 days, sometimes 5 days, but most of the time it's usually almost instant. So what we do is we run our processes concurrently. So that's why we are able to execute on it. It doesn't take that long. As long as you send the required documents and things, it almost is instant. Cool. Oh, and the Essays Got Scammers campaign, don't switch it off, it's fine. The Essays Got Scammers campaign actually got us a lot of attention of people wanting to tell us the scams that they've got. Yo, bafethu, yazi lama scammers wonke lawo nje, fanele sibahlanganise siyenze i-campaign sivuze wonke labantu laba bascamile. But a lot of people basically said, what's this thing called? I also got scammed in this. They inbox us people who got scammed in different ways. And we're starting a series actually this year where people can recognize how they're going to be scammed, right? One of the most common purchase order scams is somebody sending an email that looks like it comes from a department and then pretending that it's a purchase order. And then what happens is you go buy the goods and deliver them, and then deliver them to the address, and then you never receive payment. That's a common scam. We'll look out for that scam. One of the best ways to look out for the scams, come apply on the People's Fund. We've got a PO verification system that's pretty decent, and we want to digitize it. Sorry, Annalisa, for losing money. Some of the things you can do for yourself to verify. First, ask yourself, let's call them logical questions. Why am I receiving a PO when I've not done a purchase order, right? I've not applied, I've not tendered for the works. That's one of the best things you can do. And then call up the departments. Don't call up the departments on the PO you've received. Google on the internet, call up the department, ask them if this PO is valid. That's one of the best things you can do. Email the department and ask them, is this PO valid? I've received this, and it will let you know. I need to read this question. What happens when a PO is 500 and have 200 to fund myself and need to top up 100,000 to execute the PO? How would you charge in this case? So typically what we do, we like to fund the entire deal. We always look at what we do as a profit share arrangement. So the standard rate is 6%. So if you funded some of the deal, it helps also for us to trust that some of your money is in the deal yourself. But typically what we do is we charge 6% of PO value. So that's why we like to say people bring the whole deal for it to be funded by us. If it's funded by a third party, we generally don't like to participate with other third parties, because everyone wants to put in their own controls for the purchase order, which then muddies the water. Yeah, so funda, So the question is, because you're changing banking details, if you have bad credit record like on ITC, do you still fund a purchase order? Yes, we'll fund you. Like, we've all been done things that were bad, let's call it that, right? Where in our early days, South Africa is not actually a very forgiving environment for entrepreneurship, because you'll get blacklisted for a long time. And if you've made we'll evaluate what kind of blacklisting it is, we more to us for us to see your spending habits and how recent is it, especially if you've got an elevated risk. But generally, we will fund you if you're blacklisted in your personal capacity, because, man, things happen. Like, we make mistakes. We're about retribution, not cancel culture. I'm joking, guys. Hey, before I get chewed alive. Cool. No new questions for a second. And then, what's to come for the year? So we're going to have workshops. Some of those workshops are called, we've got a star player there in the team. Her name is Mpumi. And she's such a caring person. She gets entrepreneurs funded, right? Like, she's taken risks that we didn't know about, and they paid off. But her first objective, she's the head of due diligence. Her first objective is to make sure how to make the unfundable fundable. And we're going to have a workshop where she's walking people through how they can get funded on our platform, like to get them to the point where they get funded quite quickly. It's called Mpumi Fix My Life. No relation to the other lady with the dreadlocks who tells people how to fix their life. No relation whatsoever. Who makes people talk into holes that she's dug up so that they can speak out their pain. I don't know what you guys are talking about. But yeah, those workshops are going to be very helpful for people to understand how to get through the system quite quickly. There are people who are efficient and there are people who are inefficient. And we want people to become more efficient so we can fund them as quick as possible. We're also going to have workshops that work through how to tender. One of the things we want to do for this year is transform our company from just as simply a funding company to get more people to participate in tendering. It's a 900 billion industry per annum. It's the greatest way we see for getting people to participate in the economy. So we're going to what's this thing called? Teach people how, well, as best as we can, how to tender. Or for the various tendering platforms. Check out our website, actually, rather our social media pages. We started sharing articles that are relevant to that. And I see people are getting answered there that what's the minimum to invest is 100. What's the minimum PO you can fund to SMEs? So we funded even 3,000 Rand, if I'm not mistaken. Even lower maybe. We've done POs that require 3,000 Rand in capital. There is no minimum. But for POs that are 50,000 Rand and below, we charge a flat fee of 3,000 Rand as a fee. And there's no new questions for now. And then we started a new thing that's exciting for us. So we've got crowdfunders and we've got entrepreneurs. Now we've got something called the plugs. So the plugs are basically people. We all know somebody who's in tendering and they're always posting on social media, hey, I'm looking for funding for this tender, where can I go, right? And we've had a lot of referrals from people tagging our page on their friends' posts and various other things. And we thought, why not reward these people for that? So we started a plugs campaign, and basically now people can join directly on our website on thepeople.co.za. / you forward or backslash, guys, like I've been working in the internet for 12 years. I never know if it's forward or backslash. / affiliate - area, and there it's going to change. It's going to be thepeople.co.za / plugs. It's going to change in the future. Just keep that in mind. I'm making a lot of work for the guys who manage the social media page. And there you can sign up, and for each person you refer to our platform to apply for funding, we'll pay you Itlipacho with a Itlipacho company. So whether we fund them or not, as long as they have a valid company, we'll pay you $100 to refer them to our platform. And what we're thinking about here is, we've come through a dreadful 12 months and as a country, and a lot of people are trying to figure out what ways can they make money. So in helping other people, we want to be able, in helping other people get funded, we want to be able to reward you so that you can, it's not going to make you rich. I can promise you that. It's not going to make you a millionaire. But what it will do is give you some income so that you can think about your next step, you know? Can't think on an empty stomach. We don't want angry people. We want people who can think. Yeah, apply on our platform because we will send emails to people, to the people. So the question is, can I apply on your platform even though I don't have a PO? Yes, please apply. You're just going to confuse the system. DD team is probably watching this going, I don't apply, my purchase order. But yes, please apply so that you're on our database. When new developments happen, you'll know first before any other person. So yeah, guys, join the affiliate area, thepeople.co.za/affiliate-area, and then you can start earning a little bit of income for referring people to get funded on our platform. You know, we are the people-led economy. Just for context, so that you understand part of why we're doing this, we spend over almost 200,000 a month on marketing, and it was on blog, and they're going to hear this, and that goes to America. It goes to Facebook and Google. We'd like to circulate the rand, because those platforms are actually very effective in targeting people. CD man. Wait. Yo, you guys ask questions so fast. So since for first-time PO funding application, you can fund up to 100K. So right now, so the first-time thing, right, like how the People's Fund was built, right, is built in sections, right, and we keep improving what we can and can't do. In fact, very soon the limit is going to move above 100,000. The question is, do we do part funding for first-timers who need a lot of capital? One of the things, though, why we also don't fund, it's not only just for the amount of capital at risk, it's also for a philosophical idea. I think when you're entering purchase order funding, you should take a small project first. You should be doing very small projects so that if something goes wrong, we are going to patanisa and fix the error. If you're doing a purchase order for 200,000, it's the first purchase order in your life, that's worrying. That's just my philosophical perspective. We should learn how to tender and do this, the purchase order on smaller amounts so that it's more manageable. But for now, I need to check with the team. But as far as I remember, we haven't done part funding when somebody says they provide the capital. But it's possible to look at Pumi Fix My Life might get it through and I don't even know. So you could try for that, you know. So, yeah, you see, so we used to do quarterly statements for the crowd, but there's a lot of crowd members, so it's much harder to manage, right? Why? That's why we did the purchase order private investors. Shalati, to your question, right? That we do pay back very well on the investments. It's just you forget where you invested and when it's gonna pay back. Shalati, why don't you just come and 100,000? You told her 2-week report. You know, we've built a whole system for the private investors. But what we are going to be doing, and I'm hoping by end of this year it would be ready, is that because we're systematizing our whole process, eventually even umuntu ofake 100 rand will be able to get bi-monthly reports like everyone else. What's the biggest company you funded? I'm not going to mention their name, but I can mention highest capital we've outlaid for a single transaction. Just over 30 million, if I'm not mistaken. I'll need to double check. I think it's just over 30 million. Murake, go refer 10 people and get your 1,000 rand, man. Real Sean, you want to apply for 100,000 from us for money you owe Facebook. Is Facebook going to pay you? We can't fund that. If you have a purchase order, then we can fund it. Unlikely to fund 150,000 if it's your first time doing a purchase order. But maybe in 3 months' time, we'll be able to fund 100,000. We just want to build. It's a balancing act. We're always doing a balancing act, giving greater access to capital and at the same time protecting investors' money, So we're always balancing between the two. Do you fund contracts? Like if I get a 5-year, yeah, we can fund a contract. Like your name, two boys. You don't have funds to start the contract. Yeah, we can fund that contract. Yeah, we can fund parts of the contract. Depends on the nature of the contract. So it's best if you apply. Thokozani. I've been helped by the People's Fund. My company Prosper. Big up, guys. Thanks, Thokozani. Thanks. That's awesome feedback. That's what we do this for. Social media team, yeah. 30 million, all right. Comforter, how much money are you tendering for? I think we have to have a conversation, sure. Because it sounds like it's sizable. What's that spot? Oh, it's a love button. Okay, question and answer session. Any more questions? Guys, throw those questions. Shine I'm a kevball. Pretend I'm a politician and I just squandered COVID relief fund. I think sometimes when I talk on social media, I give my shareholders, my directors, heebie-jeebies for the things I say. Like, isiso sabo siyagoqa ngoba bathi iyarre, you're gonna get us in trouble. Asinoculela isonka la ekhaya. Asinoculela isonka. If people are doing wrong, they're doing wrong. It's even better, comforter. Makwenya. So we don't offer credit. Oh yeah, the question is, are you NCR registered? So we're part of the IFWG, Intergovernmental FinTech Working Group, which is an amalgamation between FSCA, Prudential Authority, NCR, SARS. And what they've come together to do is said crowdfunding is not regulated in South Africa, or rather doesn't have bespoke regulation. So what we're doing is we're working together to develop the regulation for crowdfunding. So we're in the sandbox. I think it ends in 3 months. If I'm not mistaken, I need to double check. And basically what that means is under that, we're operating from that perspective, from the sandbox. Because we've been trying to get a license, but because they can't place us, because we're an innovation, it's been an uphill battle. So eventually, one of the things they're doing is evaluating how to regulate crowdfunding. I mean, you can see our application on the FSP website, on the FSCA website. If you do an FSP 51,000 search, you'll see the People's Fund. It's been sitting there forever. Office looks cool. Hey guys, look at that view, guys. Yo, you ngasho ukuthi sinemali, guys. Asina nix. Look at that view. So we're working from Workshop 17, the home of entrepreneurship. This is the Santon office. So it's a co-working space. We have company. I think we're a 17-person team. I have to count. We're adding someone almost every day, or every month. And we work from here. Most people are working from home right now. Plus I bagola makho mobility. Abantwana abancane, average age a company 27. But I'm a mobility angapheli. So they're working from home, but I came to the office. I had other meetings today with investors who are old school. They didn't want to do a Zoom call. Bafuna ukungigulisa. Ndabona ukuthi ngakanani. Mhlambe yazi ngine high blood pressure nangazi. Okay, investors. Cool. And then other things to touch on. Guys, this is going to be an exciting year for us personally. I'll answer that question now, two boys. This is going to be an exciting year for us. Man, we're excited for all of those things that we're going to be doing. We're hoping to fund another $500 million in purchase orders for this year. I mean, we've already done more than $250 million, 1/3 of a billion in POs enabled from people contributing $100, so it's exciting. Yo, man, we want to demonstrate what is possible when you don't believe in the impossible. Two Boys, your question is, can we provide a letter that we will be able to assist with PO funding if you get the deal? So apply on the platform. Generally, we provide that to people who we funded before, but there are mechanisms that the team are figuring out about how to provide it to people who can come back to us and get funded. The biggest thing is we don't want our letterheads running the market, where there's a bunch of people who are saying they're going to get funded by us, they get the deal, and then phew, gone. Now, hey, I'm a competitor. Guys, like, I don't know why my team doesn't get this. It's very dangerous to make me do lives. I speak bland. So many times I've stopped myself from saying other companies' names. But yeah, apply on the platform or send an email to admin@thepeople.co.za requesting this, and the team will respond and say what they want and what they need in order to do that. Job post nyana. Yo, baba. Oza. Guys. One of the favorite sayings in the company is that freedom is responsibility. Guys, it's not fun working for TPF. Kumnandi because you make your own rules. You can swear in meetings. You can talk about funny things in meeting. Meeting. Live now. Yes, she can talk about whatever she wants. Exposed you, my shirt. But anyway, it's fun in that regard, but you will work your ass off. Arguably the hardest place you'll ever work. Even though I didn't say what I said. Well, I want to understand. You fund startup business only POs. We only fund POs, real short. For example, I said my business, but need a financial month-old business just for company mobility. If I need, sorry guys. I'm not used to social media in that way. For example, if I have set my business but need a financial boost, a month-old business just for company mobility and for business projected to make 2 million annually. In other words, I need 150K. That way, does the platform? 150K. Mauna my customer. If you got paying customers and it's a small business, I'm gonna tell you a trick. I'm gonna get in trouble for this trick with the banks, especially FNB. Mama FNB, open a business account and you get paying customers coming in. You could probably get an overdraft. My shit just shat on me. You can get an overdraft that covers your missing expenses as long as there's money coming in. I hope I don't get in trouble for that. I'm probably gonna get in trouble. I don't care anymore. Then you build up slowly but surely, and then you'll get a purchase order. Hey man, can I tell you, I projected that this company would be doing $1 billion in its third year. We're a tenth of the way there, but projections. What do they call in the market? Fun with Excel. The only projection that matters is money in the bank. Nobody's asking anything right now. Okay, Askis game a shit. Askis. Hey. Yes, we have a soft limit of $1 million for first time we're funding you. It's a soft limit. If you were referred by somebody we funded before, or if you're referred by a department itself because you've got an emergency delivery you need to do, or you're referred by one of our suppliers, we do overlook the limit, but you can apply for any amount of funding on our platform. Wozan? Repeat what, Ellen? Okay, guys, Ellen just asked me to repeat the whole live, so we're going to start from scratch. Hi, guys, my name... I'm joking. What is the minimum or maximum funding you provide to a company? No minimum, no maximum. Let me rather answer that question that way. No maximum. Apply on the platform, and then we'll see if we can fund it. There are factors we'll look at. If it's a sizable contract, have you done this sort of thing before? Is it with a department we work with closely? Is it an emergency order? All of those nice things. Oh, okay, no problem. Pumi, I hope you're not laughing at my comment, Uti. I'm gonna repeat the whole live for Ellen. Yes, I was being serious, guys. You know, Auntie, what is it? I think the Bible teaches that sort of thing, doesn't it? That we must be like shepherds who you fetch the lost sheep. So if there's one person who wants the whole life repeated, we'll repeat the whole life. Don't pay them no mind. Pay them no mind. Ellen, I'm giving. You want me to repeat the whole statement where I was giving you information that I should not be giving you. It's like you guys want me fired. That's what you want. So I was saying there's a way to get an overdraft systematically with F&B where if you've got income coming in, you can request an overdraft and it will cover the difference in your cash shortfall as you build your customer database. Don't tell anyone I told you that. One of my shareholders just came in and said, please don't repeat that. Oh, guys, I think I'm going to have to get like high blood pressure medication on call for my shareholders. And every time I have a live, I just deliver it to their houses so that they go, Jagakok, yes, Bulal. They're going to fire me. Do you know my board? Guys, the only way I can have fun like this is that if I have a serious board. And my board is very serious, guys. Yo. Hi. Do you pay the funding amount to the company you're funding with suppliers? Okay, let me describe the mechanism. We pay the suppliers. We actually buy the goods from the suppliers and technically are reselling them to you. So it also answers the NCR question above. We offer incremental credit. Hey, Real Sean, as long as you give me an apartment when they fire me, because you're claiming they won't fire me, you'll give me an apartment, pay for my daughter's school fees, then it's fine. Then I'll keep saying those statements. There's no more questions. Then I'm yo, somebody's got a booger, and I think they're laughing at my jokes. Let's do that. Yeah, we need to start getting somebody else to talk on behalf of the company. Imagine we're going to have a R1 billion company that has this idiot talking for it. At least I'm not the only one shy English after 7. So what is the turnaround to finish the process? So if you're talking about funding, approval takes quite quickly. We've just had an influx. We've had marketing, so we've got an influx of applications. So we try to keep it under 2 days, 2 to 5 days approval. But yeah, we've had a backlog that we're dealing with because we're closed most of December and beginning of January. But we try to get approval within 2 to 5 days. Nonto! Hi, Nonto. Nonto says my company's where it is right now because of you guys. I'm forever grateful. Thank you, Siabo. Thank you, Siabo. Nonto skoloti man. Nonto we have to skoloti man. Yes. Konito, there's an itch in my body that says skoloti man. But I think true. But it's, I hope I've said your name properly. Excuse me. Yay, almost said an offensive word. Employ me, I talk for a living. I've got a rule. if you can't talk and chew at the same time, you'll choke. We're a bunch of chewers. We're a bunch of people who like to eat, meaning we like to get into the work and not talking. And when I imagine, this is why I don't talk that much. I talk so badly. Tankiso, how are we gonna fund ilobola? Uyomthengisa lo muntu futhi. How are the investors gonna get their money back? Yorentisa lo muntu. Aibo, aume. When will you have offices in Cape Town? I take peli COVID and then we can discuss that. Oh, guys, why do you want us to spend expenses? I'm joking. Yeah, as we expand, we've got a fair amount of Cape Town business. But because we're all digitally managed, we've generally not needed to have outside of this office. What we are trying to do is partner with companies and agencies that have a wide footprint and have things like kiosks at those footprints. It's just, government moves at the rate of evolution. So, Minder, I hope I said your name properly. You guys are doing a great job. Keep it up. If Benaz descends on me, you wouldn't say that. I'm joking. Thank you. Question that status quo. That's all we're doing. That's all we're doing. Anyone who starts working from our company for the first week, they come to our status. The first thing they are greeted with is our status meeting. And they go, I don't think any work gets done here. Like, what the hell? Because it's not, we all come from those environments where status meeting is, good morning, everyone, please, blah, blah, blah. And we don't have our status meeting in the morning. Mornings are for working. We have our status meeting at 4 p.m. on a Monday. That's 4 p.m. on a Monday. I'm doing due diligence as solid now. Don't call us. Between 4 and 6 p.m. on a Monday, don't call us. We're busy with status. We're bonding as a family. We're being stupid. So yeah, we're challenging the status quo. Our company is letting blackness exist as blackness wishes, especially internally. Hi, Nomava. Nomava was one of the first companies we funded on the People's Fund, the purchase order funding. Guys, we've got 9 minutes left. I was going to say, let me tell you guys jokes. I've been watching Jimmy Carr. He tells very dark jokes, so that's the only jokes I can remember. I'm not telling jokes. I'll get fired for sure. For sure. Thanks, Comforter. Amen. Amen. I want to find love it. Motivators lab. Uzolamba mangasebenzi. That's your motivation. Abangasebenzi bayalamba. Here's motivation for you. If you live in your own apartment and you've got a parking spot or a garage, go look at the parking spot or the garage, go look at your apartment, and then go look at Trevor Noah's apartment and his garage, and then go, yarr. That's motivation for you. Benny, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm getting a cramp in my arm. Yo, guys, Benny, so sorry about that. I will look into it to find out what the problem is, why it has not been sent. As I mentioned, we have had a bit of a backlog because we're playing catch up with all of the systems, but we don't like hearing that, and we try our utmost best to make sure that our entrepreneurs are satisfied. And guys, and I won't even lie, shem for this period, and it's understandable. When we are dropping the ball, we should be reprimanded. Thanks, Nomava. Awesome on your side as well. We've enjoyed working with you so much. They're asking for direct phone numbers. As Nami have a website to tell them about direct phone numbers. I'm guys, I've got a terrible memory. think it's 011. Or go to the people.co.za, click on contact us. You'll have the WhatsApp number, the phone number, and all of the other numbers. And I think better contact us. Now pretend I didn't just do this. Pretend I know this off by heart as an owner of a business. 011 026 1474. Direct phone number to make a phone call. And then WhatsApp is 081 285 1839. I wasn't looking at anything. I'm stretching my neck. Good evening, LJ. Are we going to get free funky caps just for fun and giggles? I don't know what you're talking about. Do you know? So confusing. Social media team, fakela manamba baba. Tanki, so how do we collect our money? So we get mandates on the entrepreneurs' bank accounts, and then we're able to withdraw our money ourselves. Could you need to do debit collections for we're not outsourcing any of that function just yet. Pell, life is pain, life is suffering, and you must, sooner you accept that life is suffering, the easier life becomes. The greatest motivation is hurt. Or they find their spouse cheating. Woo-wee! The best writing has come from pain. So, yeah. It's 7 p. It's 8 o'clock. What do you mean we're not answering our landline? It's 8 o'clock. I honestly just troll a bunch. Hi, Benny. I'm joking, Benny. Makwena, you know, it's actually, so your question is actually very valid. I almost got thrown off by how casual you run your business. Maybe I'm too professional or uptight. I don't mean to be negative, but it helps to be professional, especially when discussing finance. Just don't be too casual, please. This is to all your consultants. So, Makwena, you know, one of the things that is most painful to watch is a majority of our people are denied access to finance because there's this barrier between them and the financier that feels like a world apart. We speak different languages, and I don't mean that in the dialect sense. I don't mean that in that literal language sense, but we speak different languages. We want people to feel at home when they're working with us. Sometimes we're going to have responses like you have, and that's part of the process and figuring out a middle ground. For that, you see how serious I became for that. But man, part of our productivity and how we've grown so fast comes from the place that people are working in an environment where they love to work. So we allow people's personalities to shine through. I understand your concern completely. But most of the greatest, let's call them scams in the world, happen with people wearing pretty suits and ties. Have you heard of Bernie Madoff? Bernie Madoff basically invented the NASDAQ. And after inventing the NASDAQ, fleeced people $60 billion wearing a suit and a tie. We're believers in one of my favorite saying, men lie, numbers lie, women don't, you know. Men lie. Oh, wow, sure it. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't, sorry. And oftentimes we get sold dreams by the lies of appearance of things. We believe in action will speak for itself. The work will speak for itself. But I assure you, Makwena, that I'll talk to them that they must adjust their tone for the customer they're speaking to. But by and large, it's worked quite nicely for people who are looking for funding. Guys, life is short, guys. Life is very short. I'm 32 years old. So sure, and I'm in 30 years' time, maybe 50. I don't want to look back on my life and say I worked at a company that was flipping boring. We made a lot of money and we funded a lot of people, but I hated every morning I woke up. It's Kumba light, yo. Pumi, you're on a mission. Jesus. I knew that's what he was talking about. I pretended not to know so that I could ignore that comment completely. Mara Ili, you can get cool beanies from Livumil. It's a nice brand. It's got, and I wear it for good luck because it was Livumil, guys. I got it was Livumil at the People's Fund. It said yes, this is the business that it needs to be. Jalen now. Oh, the People's Fund, not now. Awesome, guys. Funding hambe manje. Duty called. That's in the board meeting in 2 days. I can't wait to board pack. Board members, nebona why ngaqedanga yonke board pack. This is why, guys. It's for the business. Please be understanding. Silebo ngibonile ukhona tega lapha ama board member. Ngikubonile watag. But anyway, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. We'll do this again probably next year, so that's not too frequent. If not feeling until like there's something I've got to offer, you know, pretend scarcity. This is how they made diamonds. Let me tell you a quick story. This is how they made diamonds valuable. It was a marketing campaign. Diamonds were worthless. They've got no functional industrial use, generally speaking. And people, De Beers needed them to be valuable. And what they basically did, they made them the rock that is associated with engagements and convinced the American public, convinced the American public to value rings. And it was a cultural revolution that's persisted. This is why diamonds are so valuable. They absolutely have no intrinsic value at all. Yeah, because yeah, women don't lie. Yeah, how that. It was my deep down soul that was talking. You know, women always tell the truth. Tataku. Oh, damn it. I'm going to get in so much trouble. Guys, thanks again for joining us for the live. Looking forward to working with all of you and to keep building this thing. We're at 200 million now. Let's get to that billion, guys. It's a shale billion. All from kids playing, you know. Average age is what? Is it 27 or is it 30? It's 27. Average age of the company is 27. Young kids changing the status quo. The EFF of finance. Thanks, guys. Cheers.